All right, so I provided the videos for you guys to watch as a reminder how to add and subtract mixed numbers with common denominators and no regrouping. Now we're going to go through a couple examples. Okay, and I'm going to do so before I go with the examples. I already got the steps laid out. And as we go through this lesson, I'm going to start I'm going to get rid of the steps, but for the first part, I'm going to provide you with some steps. And then as we go on through the days, I'm going to be showing you through example because if you add a bunch of steps, it can kind of get confusing. So step one, you're going to add or subtract the whole numbers. All right, so I have 3 and 5. Those are my two whole numbers in this problem. Okay, and then I'm going to add and subtract the fraction. So I have 1/5 and 2/5, or add or subtract depending what the problem is. This is an addition problem, so we're going to add. Then we're going to simplify the fraction if we can. And then the last part, our answer, we're going to combine the whole number and the fraction. Okay, so this is adding a mixed number, and this is actually an easier, both these examples, we call these adding fractions with mixed numbers with common denominators and without regrouping. And the reason being, well, for the common denominator, both fractions have the same denominator. So 5 and 5, for example, 1, and 10 and 10, for example, 2. All right, and what regrouping means, and you're gonna, as we go through the day, you'll understand what regrouping is. Your answer would have a mixed number, or you're gonna have to borrow to make a fraction. One fraction, you're going to have to borrow from your whole number to be able to solve the problem. But when we get to the examples at the end of the day, you'll understand what regrouping is. But these are two examples without regrouping, so they're going to be pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do is we got to add the whole numbers. All right. So I have 3 and 5. So the first part, 3 plus 5. Okay. Part 2, step 2, I'm going to add the fraction. So I have 1/5 plus 2/5. All right. Oh, sorry. Let me add these together. So that equals 3/5. And then 3 plus 8 is 8. So that equals 8. All right. Now we're going to simplify the fraction. This 3/5 is already simplified. So I don't need to do any. I can skip step 3 in this particular example. And then the last step, I'm just going to combine the whole numbers with a fraction. So I have 8 plus 3/5, and that's going to get me 8 and 3/5. Okay, so just to be clear, that addition doesn't have anything to do with that addition symbol. All I'm doing is simply just combining. I'm combining the two. Okay, I'm just combining the two parts. I'm combining the whole number and I'm combining the fraction, and then I get. So my final answer for example number 1 is 8 3/5. All right, so let's go ahead and do the same thing over here with the subtraction one. It's the same exact steps. That's why I put them together. So add and subtract the whole numbers. I'm going to subtract. So I don't have a whole number there, but I know you could say that we could have 0 there. So that whole number, I don't have a whole number. But if you would like to add a 0, all you're simply doing is adding or subtracting 1 minus 0, and you get 1. All right. Not necessary, but if you choose to do so. All right, step 2, I'm going to add the fraction. So I have 7/10 minus 3/10, and that's going to get me 4/10. Okay. Step 3, simplify the fraction. Okay, this is one that I can't simplify because 4/10 is not simplified. The reason being is 2 is a common factor of both 4 and 10. So I'm going to divide the numerator by 2 as well as the denominator by the same number, and I get 2/5. All right, so that's my fraction. 4/10 simplified is 2/5. So now I'm going to combine the parts. So I have my whole number is 1. So 1 plus the 2/5. Remember, like I said, that plus symbol down here when you're combining has nothing to do with the symbol of the problem. You don't even think of it as a plus. Just think of it, you're combining the two the two parts. You're combining the whole number and you're combining the fraction. And then so that equals 1 and 2/5. All right. So if you'd like to stick around if you'd like to do the extra examples, go ahead. When I say pause the video. But before you go, make sure you be on your own practice. Okay. You're gonna do it through Khan Academy. You're gonna get immediate feedback. If you get stuck on something, you can click on the help icon, and it'll give you some hints and other additional help. All right. So if you would like to stick around for the extra examples, go ahead and pause the video, give them a shot, and then when you're ready to go over the answers, hit resume. All right, welcome back. All right, so let's go ahead and solve these. So the first one's an addition problem, the second one's a subtraction. I follow the exact same steps because I don't have to do any what we call regrouping or making equivalent fractions. So step one, add the whole number. So I have 8 plus 5 equals 13. All right. Add the fraction. So 2/9 plus 1/9 equals 3/9. All right. And this one I can simplify because 3 is a common factor of 3/9, of 3 and 9. So 3/9 equals 1/3 divided both by 3. All right, so now I have 13 as my whole, 1/3 is my fraction. Now I'm just going to combine those parts. So 13 plus 1/3 equals 13 and 1/3. And that is my answer. All right, number 2. All right, same thing, but with subtraction. I'm going to subtract my whole number. So 7 minus 5 equals 2, and that's my whole number. All right, and then I'm going to take 11/12 minus 2/12, and I get 9/12. Okay, I can simplify 9/12 because 3 is a common factor, and so 9/12 equals divide both by 3, and I get 3/4. All right, and so then I'm going to combine my whole number and my fraction, and I would get 2 and 3/4. All right, now I'm going to point out something real quick. 9/12, if you get 2 and 9/12, I'm cool with that. All right, but typically when you work on fractions, you want to get them simplified as much as possible. Once you start doing algebraic equations with fractions and things like that, it just makes it easier when your fractions are simplified. Not necessary, but it does help in the long run if you're able to simplify the fractions. All right, so this is examples on adding, subtracting without regrouping. All right. So the next example that you guys are going to do is going to be the same thing, but it's going to be with regrouping, and I'm going to break it down a little bit more instead of combining addition and subtraction, because there are slightly different strategies when you're subtracting mixed numbers that require regrouping. All right. So please resume once the lesson.